say I didn't know it could kill somebody, but I'm sure in the moment, that split second, he did the first thing. And now his life is ruined. I mean, deservedly so, obviously, but that is the issue. And I think that is the genetic aspect that people don't talk about. I don't think anybody would disagree. Black people or white people, who has a greater propensity for violence? I think on a genetic basis is black people. In the same way that between Asians and white people, who has a greater propensity for violence? I think definitely white people. You know, and that's just another one of those differences. People attribute it to culture. I attribute it to genetics. It's one among others.
Asians, who has the higher IQs? It's Asian people. Then it's like white people. Then I guess it's Latinos.
Everybody else, and then black people dead last.
I mean, and that's a fact, correct?
Yeah, that's
From
a
what
fact.
I've read up on it, like black people, for whatever reason.
Hey, what's going on, man? It's your host, Most the Great, Day Late Dollar Short News, man. Go ahead and tap that like button, subscribe, share this, hit that notification bell so you be notified if you are interested in this Day Late Dollar Short News vlogcast content, man. And on today's topic, we are talking about Mr. Nick Fuentes and breaking down a segment he did with the Hodge twins. I said Hog twins last time, but it's Hodge, like Hodges. Got some partners with the last name Hodges. But anywho, it was the butt end of a segment or interview that he had did with the Hodge twins. And if you would like to see that video in totality, go over to Hodge twins, or also go over to Mr. Nick Fuentes. I believe he has a podcast where he you know, you can get your daily dose of your Nick Fuentes. You know, the butt end of the segment that he was talking about, he was correlating the case between Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. And he was saying that black people are inherently more violent than any other race on the planet. And they were just breaking down, crunching the numbers on who has the highest IQs and things of that nature. And my answer to that, my rebuttal to that is, there's no such thing as inherently violence. Nobody can inherit violence. But if you're talking about who commits the most crimes in America, the most violent crimes in America, I had to be fair and honest. And yeah, black people do commit the vast majority of the violent crimes in the United States of America. The statistics show that and prove that. But we are not more inherently violent than anyone on the planet. The conditions that you know a lot of black people live in, and the culture, I believe, you know, is the mitigating factors in why young black men from the ages of 15 to 25 are significantly violent. That's just my opinion. I can't prove that, just like he can't prove that black men are more inherently violent, because the research that I've done, that doesn't exist. You know, if there could be any evidence to prove that fact, you know, I'd like to hear it. You know, you could drop it in the comments. You could post a link, or you could do a video about it, and I'll watch it. But as far as that goes, I don't believe that to be the case. And you need to watch this documentary called Bastards of the Party by Cleavon Sloan. Shout out to Cleavon Sloan. And it talks about how in the 50s, the late 40s and the early 50s, how blacks migrated from the South to Los Angeles and Compton and Inglewood and Wattswood. Those all places were fairly, you know, predominantly white areas. And they had white gangs called the Spook Hunters. And the blacks had to form gangs in order to fight off the white gangs, just to stay around. And it was mostly, you know, fist fights, and maybe somebody might get stabbed at the most, hit with a chain, a bat, a stick, whatever, you know. Not too much gun violence was happening back then. But the blacks formulated gangs to ward off, white people attacking them. Also, I'm from Bakersfield, California, and Oildale, which is a sector of Bakersfield, is north of Bakersfield, just north of Bakersfield, right off of North Chester. It was a predominantly white racist area. It's always been that way. A lot has changed since then. It's more integrated now, but that used to be a sundown town. I used to work on Norris Road, and I've had, a couple of altercations with racist white men riding my bike home from work. You know what I'm saying? So it goes both ways. I don't think that black people are genetically more prone to violence than white people, and this is just my personal opinion. You could drop your opinion in the comment sections, like I stated earlier. Black men never created automatic weapons. We never created nuclear weapons. We didn't fly cocaine. We didn't own any boats. So, those. If you ever watched the documentary Cocaine Cowboys, those people who owned the plane were white men, and they were dropping cocaine off on, the West Keys of Florida and things of that nature that made it to the black community, that plagued the black community. And a lot of these automatic weapons, I did a video about the automatic weapons. There were trains in Chicago, all around the United States, man, that would park and boatloads, train loads, crates of automatic weapons, AK-47s, 9mm, Glock, Taurus. How do you think all of these kids, were able to have access to all of these fully automatic weapons? You got to think about it. And I'm not saying that that's the sole reason why we are leading the nation in crime, but it does play a major role in why the conditions in the black community are the way they are. Because if you look at it in the 60s and even if you go far as back as the 20s, black people, we had our own land, Eatonville, Florida, Allensworth, California, you know what I'm saying? Tulsa, Oklahoma. Those places were predominantly black, and integration kind of disintegrated some of them. But you heard about a lot of the towns where it so happened a black man whistled at a white woman, and next thing you know, the whole town is getting burned down. And the first time attack by the U.S. from the U.S., was in Tulsa, and they dropped a bomb on Tulsa, Oklahoma. And it's been rumored that the group, the Gap Band, that you dropped the bomb, they were talking about that in the song. You dig what I'm saying? I don't know how true that is, but I've heard it from some Oklahoma natives that was the case. Also, while we're speaking on Oklahoma, let's talk about the Tuskegee Airmen who were injected by syphilis from white scientists. So when we talk about who's the most violent inherently, this country is soaked in the blood of black men and women, who were raped, tortured, maimed, castrated by white men. So let's not go far off the rail of, who's more inherently racist. I don't think that, racist, violent. Why am I saying racist? No, who's more inherently violent? I'd have to get that to, who I get that to Esau, man. I get that to the Edomite. I get that to them. If you know, you know. But I've lived around white people. I've lived around Hispanic people, and I think that violence is second nature. It's the lowest form of communication. Violence. A lot of people who commit violent crimes, the majority of them are poor. Poverty equals violence for sure. But there are some people who are just chemically unbalanced. Like the serial killers. Look at Christopher Donner. He just snapped. He went off the rail. There's a lot of things happening at his job that he just he went crazy. Look at Jeffrey Dahmer's. Look at Ted Bundy. Look at all of, there's a lot of serial killers who just, they're chemically imbalanced. Can we say that they were inherently, the way they were? But hey, this is your host, Most the Great. I'm out.